All right. We are back for another episode of the Eh-soteric Archives. Live from the moon. We made it. Everybody, welcome. Welcome to the moon, the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, that's where we are located, on the dark side of the moon. Yeah. That's why no one can seem to find us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You just got to do, it's really easy to get here, actually. You just do a little slingshot maneuver. You break, you go up and then sideways, and then you have to launch on April Fool's Day. Also, that's one thing that has to be done. Otherwise you just won't make it here. So,
and there has to be various associations with male genitalia.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, it's a phallic mission. Very, very phallic mission. So yeah, we're back, and no real topic today, just the goofy world we live in, and figured there's enough going on that we could just shoot the shit and talk about all the nonsense, and I guess the astronauts made it back home safely. Some of them needed a wheelchair, some of them didn't.
Did you see them so they were in space for 10 days?
Yeah.
How could they walk? I have so many questions too, like about that we'll just get right into that, I guess, because so many questions. But that was the last one that I would have, is how did they walk so easily when they were removed from the capsule that had the perfect NASA emblem on it,
that came back at 25,000 miles per hour, bursting in flames, and then just landed in the ocean with no steam, no anything.
With no not even a
no, I know. I throw out a cigarette in a pop can and it makes more of a fucking sizzle than that capsule did.
It's crazy what they want us to believe, right? So if there was, because we're obviously talking about it, and part of what we wanted to talk about was why are we even talking about it, which we're doing, so we're adding to it. But the reason why is, again, to show, like, it's all fake. Look what they're doing. Like, they're trying to pass this off as real, and how many people are buying it. Although I think it's a lot less than it used to be. But
they really went all out trying to cover their tracks, I think, this time too. I mean, on one hand, it's so in your face that it's almost like, that whole thing. Like, are they trying to expose it? Are they trying to be like, hey, idiots, like, figure it out, none of this shit is real? Or are we literally living in such a bifurcated reality that there literally are people? Because I'm on social media, and I have my old band's social media that I still go on from time to time. And a lot of the people followed on there are very left-leaning, very like into the whole whatever. And my point being is that all the people that were excited about this shit were the same people that were excited about, got all up in arms about the BLM stuff, all the Ukraine stuff, pictures with the masks, got their booster. Like, you know what I mean? It's a certain type
all the NPCs.
Yeah, it's a certain type of person that got excited about this.
Do you think they're people who aren't filled with souls? Like, no joke. Like, they're literally just goo, like homunculus glue that just does whatever.
No, I think, I don't want to get into that, because like that frame of thought, because that's like it's the whole like, oh, well, I'm like enlightened, and I don't really believe in enlightenment in that sense, where it's like, to even claim that you are enlightened kind of shows that you aren't, because we're all just humans.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But I think it's just, some people operate in sort of a dream state, and they're just captured by, and I don't necessarily blame all of them. Like, it would be, if it was real, I guess it's exciting. I guess it's like, rockets are cool, I guess, like, but space could be cool. The thought of it, the LARP of it, is like, you know, fun. Star Wars is a fun movie, like
Yeah, yeah.
there's an element of like fun and whimsy behind it. And I think that's what people get behind is they either like and some humans are just so emotionally driven. And we saw that with all the COVID stuff, that was just a play that was literally just playing on people's emotions. That's all that was. That's why that
Mhm.
people became captured with it. And I think it's the same thing with the wars and with all the false flags and the school shootings and whatever, all this stuff, right? It's an energy harvest and it's meant to just play on people's emotions. And I think that this is part of that.
That tracks really well because it does, you know what I mean? It's getting emotions on both sides. It's another thing that people are fighting about,
Yeah. So I mean, I can,
whether the moon is real or, you know what I mean? Like whether that actually happened, whether and like everything else, it's nuanced. The answer is not one way or the other, I don't think.
yeah, I'm not sitting here saying that the moon is necessarily fake or space is necessarily fake.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's maybe not what we're told it is.
That yeah. While we're talking, like that's I agree 100% with that statement. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%. I'm definitely not flat earth. You know what I mean? At all. And I wouldn't say not at all. I'm not flat earth. Flat earth, what is it Greg Carl would say? Adjacent? I would consider the idea. I like it I never would before,
Yeah.
but
Well, why does
I
it have
would
to be flat or round? Like, it could, like it could be shaped like a dick.
yeah, yeah.
Like for all we know.
But I do know that like at night I see stars, I see a moon, I see planets, I see that they follow a procession. Like I'm aware of these things and can see them. So I is that outer space? What is that? I actually believe that as well at this point.
Mhm.
So then why are they lying? Like what you know what I'm saying? Like are they hiding something? Is there something with the moon? Like I don't know. I think there's truth and lies
Yeah.
in what they say. There's both.
But I think that like, with this Artemis mission, I think there were too many red flags from the start
Yeah.
where like I mean, them launching on April Fool's Day is just to me was a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
We've all seen the videos of like the green screen type stuff, the glitches in the with the foamy stuffy thing that they're tossing around.
Yeah, with no shadow, other
Oh,
hands of shadow.
yeah.
The Nutella floating across. And
Yeah.
I was when I first saw that, I thought it was a commercial. I thought Nutella actually
Oh, really?
came up with it. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
realize it actually happened. One weird one, just because as someone who's follically challenged and shaves my head, not as much as I should, but and part of the reason I don't shave my head all the time is because it's hard to get a nice close shave, and sometimes you don't have time. How was that one guy? How are all the guys cleanly shaven
Yeah.
all the time?
Yeah.
Me, okay, get because it was a live stream, right? Like but that guy specifically, the Glover, not Cock, the female astronaut, Glover,
Yeah.
the I believe he was the pilot, right? How did his head stay that shaved?
Well, yeah. To me, you'd think you're going on a 10-day space mission, you can forego the razors for 10 days. Like that would be
You would think that maybe it's for entry because it heats up so quick. They want to make sure
it's
his hair doesn't.
aerodynamic.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't get it.
No, and yeah, there was lots of I mean, I was coming into it a skeptic anyways, so I was looking for things to be like, "Oh, that's probably fake. Oh, that's fake." Like and even the way like look at their pants. Like it looked like they had harnesses on.
It did.
Like
It
that's
did.
your pants don't just I'm wearing chinos right now. They're not squinched like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the
It looked like they were in front of. Oh, they had a green screen
yeah,
around them. The
always in the same position. That one guy always
oh
laying up
yeah, they
top.
were
Like,
making memes about it.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
did you see that same guy, the Canadian guy, right? The lace, how the lace of his just drifted up on its own and then drifted like it.
Oh, I didn't
It
see
was
that.
moving around, but a lot of people pointed that it looked like there was some sort of string there that got wrapped or
Yeah,
it didn't work right.
yeah. Then I mean, yeah, it was just a lot of it was, from the launch itself. There's the outboard cameras that just glitch out,
Hmm.
and then it just switches to a CGI rendering of what's happening
Hmm.
when like SpaceX does their launches and seem to be able to keep cameras on it and stuff. And I'm not saying SpaceX is doing real shit either, but
But sorry, keep going.
oh, but then I was just gonna go from that to the trajectory, which there was that video, that viral video of the person from the airplane. It was like, oh look, I captured the launch from the seat of my airplane. First of all,
Yeah.
there's no planes allowed in that
Anything.
airspace
Yeah.
anywhere near when they're launching a rocket.
Yeah.
And then if you there was a person that was on the beach in, what is it, Cape Canaveral or whatever it is in Florida. And so they videoed the launch. And then if you compare the trajectory of the two videos, one's going one way and one's going a completely other direction. They launch just so happen they all go right towards the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, that's really weird, eh?
And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's odd. I saw that flight path, and you would think you would want to avoid that.
And that's just it. Is like you get the people who are like, oh, there was no rocket at all, and that's where it's like, okay, you have to meet this halfway. They're not going to fake something and not have some of their bases covered. Like, yes, a missile, which is essentially what NASA is just missile technology, right? They're a weapons manufacturer. That's what they are. Look up the history of NASA and who funds it and what it's just missile technology. So yes, a missile was launched. Was there anyone on that? No. It goes, launches up so people actually with their eyes see something taking off, and then it disappears and they say, oh, it's in space now. And that's, I mean, it's just really, it's not that hard to figure out
or to fake.
So
when you mentioned SpaceX, when they launch, they go straight up.
Yeah.
They don't, I know that because the whole idea is they follow the curvature of the earth to get a slingshot, like out of a movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, but SpaceX, they go straight up. This one's kind of more of an angle. Every time, and also the cameras are on the SpaceX rockets the whole time. Whereas this one, they're on and then it launches and then it was always like, I think this time it was 10 hours before they had the live feed up. Yeah. Right. I want to see what's going on while that would be good video, wouldn't it? Like seeing what's happening while they're going through space. Do you think they'd want to show that to everyone and see what they go through during that experience? That's one. And two, I'm not saying again the flat earth thing, but maybe like SpaceX tried to break the firmament, if you believe that, a couple times, didn't, and then they switched to landing it on chopsticks.
Yeah.
Right? Like they tried a couple times and then they just switched and everyone's like, oh, that's amazing. You can send it up and land it on chopsticks, but you still can't break the firmament when the camera's on. Just saying.
Yeah, and to me, just with the budget of the mission and all this stuff, it's like the way technology is now. It's like you can't tell me that you can't have a live camera feed if that were the case, right? Like, again, it all goes back to the first moon mission, which was, we all know at this point. Like, if you believe that first moon landing was real,
yeah,
holy shit, I got some oceanfront property in Saskatchewan I can sell you. Like, Jesus.
And because there's nuance, that does not necessarily mean they did not land on the moon. We're just saying that what was shown to people then and now is not
exactly
what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot.
Well, and so like you were saying, talking about why don't they have cameras there? That's what I brought up, and you mentioned it too. And why aren't they on them all the time? I'm old enough to remember Challenger. And I was alive and I watched that in school in like grade 3. Our whole school watched it and the cameras were on it the whole time. And maybe that's why they don't have cameras on it.
Maybe.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. I was kind of expecting a Challenger false flag type situation with this one. But
speaking of that, what do you think of the Challenger? That whole thing that's a weird, when you ask AI the question, that's when it really deflects from. It tries to say that it's just coincidence and circumstance. And there are people who are doppelgangers to them that do the exact same thing halfway across the same country, or identical brothers that no one knew about, or it's a weird one. Because you know what I mean? I watched it. It scarred me. It really did scar me. And that explained why no one went to space for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, the fact that it was like school teachers and stuff too. But again, there's that theater aspect to it, right? It's like, why are you sending teachers up into space? Who cares? Like what? So I'm sorry, they wouldn't let Lance Bass from NSYNC go up because he like something didn't like he went into astronaut training
Yeah.
and then something went wrong and his vision wasn't good enough so he couldn't go up, but they send up school teachers. Like it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. um I yeah.
I think it's money laundering myself. I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's to make them look what we can do with your tax dollars and money, and that's all it is, to fund other research or something. And I would think any technology they actually do have, in my opinion, was probably just given to them by another life form or something anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
I think at the end of
future
the day,
humans.
that's all NASA is just like it's a way to they put on this public front so that they can continue doing weapons testing and spending taxpayer money on the war machine, and that's really all it is.
And distract when necessary. Use it as a distraction when necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because there's apparently supposed to be an Artemis 3 and then an Artemis 4 and 5. Like they're gonna eventually land a rover, I think, next, and then land humans on the moon, and then it's supposed to be some sort of terraforming project.
Humans again
Humans again, but to like build structures.
this time.
Yeah, so and that's by 2032 or something like that.
Hmm.
Oh, the capsule that landed also landed at 33 degrees, was it north or whatever?
There's so many
Yeah.
30 when you look through the
Oh,
videos, there's so many 33s involved.
there was and then there's, all the like ball connections too. I don't know if you saw that guy with his tattoo that on his hand, that was like strapping in one of the astronauts.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a big tattoo of ball on his hand. Um,
Yeah, there's so much.
yeah, it
There were
was.
so many things. There were so many red flags and yeah.
And yeah, the I mean, the theatrics of it all with the, what do they name that crater after a guy's, like, wife that passed away or
Yeah.
something like that. Like, there's just so many theatrics. They even played into the political stuff where Trump called and there's that awkward silence where they didn't wanna, like, talk to Trump, right? So they're
Yeah.
like the Trump derangement syndrome found its way into space as well.
It well,
Which again, I'm not a Trump fan, but, like, just stop it. Like,
me neither, but I just don't understand how everyone can't realize that guy's a jackass. But anyway, he
yeah.
should be the one where everyone is like, "Oh, they don't have our best interests in mind."
Yeah. Yeah.
But and now I think Trump derangement says it's the Trump derangement syndrome is actually the opposite, in my opinion. It's not the people who are like, I hate Trump just because he's Trump, although that is it. I think it's the people who are still standing by him, supporting what he's doing. That to me is the derangement now. And
Yeah.
I'm also not we know I'm not a fan of either side.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no, well, again, it comes down to people just being captured, right? And it's playing on
Mhm.
people's emotions, the people that are still in like, the mega crew, the, like, Q followers, which I know I've said in the past that I think things from Q have actually come to fruition, but I wanna reiterate what I mean by that is that there is a playbook,
Mhm.
and they gotta give little tidbits to each side. If you haven't noticed, there's always a win over here and then a win over here and a win over here and a win. So it keeps people on board,
Mhm.
right? Like the left gets their little like, oh yeah, no, see, Trump did this. We were right. He was going to start a war, blah, blah, like, and then the right gets their thing where it's like, oh no, see, there were illegals coming through there is fraud in the government. And look at all the like, oh, Minnesota stuff and California is like, yeah, but I mean, all of it, if you're paying attention, everyone's known this all along
Yeah.
anyways, right? So it's just playing into people's emotions, giving them what they need to keep them captured, and all the while the uniparty agenda moves forward.
Mhm. It's the whole problem solution thing, right? Like
Exactly.
one party creates the problems, they have to bring in the other party to solve the problem and so on and so forth. And then there's always someone to blame who isn't them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to show this though, because this was
Yeah, yeah.
one
Yeah.
thing I
Sorry. I
saw.
guess, yeah, we'll go to the Trump nonsense in the world after this. But
Yeah, but this is so there's I mean, if you weren't convinced that these people are actors already, and they're being like this is all scripted. This is the one of the astronauts. Is this Lover?
this is Cock.
This is Cock. Okay.
Or maybe she's Glover. Cock Glover? Is she Cock or Glover?
I don't know. They're all cock lovers.
Yeah, they are.
Um,
They are at NASA. I mean NASA. Yeah, doesn't it means to NASA is to deceive in Hebrew.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is where this is an interview where clearly her earpiece cuts out, and also she spouts some nonsense before that. But
And this is an astronaut,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
So when we saw Tiny Earth, people asked our crew what impressions we had.
and they're always laughing. They always have this fucking smirk on their face.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
They're like, ha ha ha, you idiots.
They don't look exhausted. They just spent 10 days in their own poop.
Yeah.
And pee.
Yeah.
For 10 days.
Yeah.
And they're just, look at her. She hasn't even showered yet.
No,
Well, maybe
smile on
she
her
has,
face.
yeah.
She's
Crazy.
hang loose. Yeah.
And honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth, it was all the blackness around it.
That's just this guy sitting here. That's what she's referring to.
Earth was just this lifeboat.
That comment also, I'm going to stop this a few times.
Yeah.
Lifeboat. And this plays into the whole firmament thing.
Yeah.
This the ocean in the sky shit.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
There's always a reference to being a boat, to being water, to being something, that struck me as odd.
So before you go forward, I know we discussed this a little bit before, but I don't think I got an answer for you, and still haven't got from anyone. When she says that the earth is surrounded by blackness and darkness, how are there not stars?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I would think it'd be like, I couldn't believe the beauty of Earth, knowing that Earth was there, surrounded by all the stars that we see in this. Like, there's no mention ever of the stars. It's just this lifeboat of Earth in the void.
Well, because stars are supposed to be like galaxies away, right? So we're like, it shouldn't matter that if it was some sort of like vacuum of space where like light doesn't emanate.
So that's what I'm getting at.
That's like, what I've read some comments of people saying, but also it's like, well, light travels. And if it's, I mean, I would understand maybe some stars not being able to see them because of whatever out of vicinity, however you want to explain it away, but to have nothing and then like, but light is still emanating off the earth from sun and the moon from the sun. It doesn't, you'd think that, you would see some stars.
You wouldn't just be a void.
Yeah.
Anyway, I obviously have not been there.
Yeah.
I've never been to space.
Yeah.
But sorry, that was my question. Continue.
Hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
Hanging? Just hanging there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hanging like by a thread, like the things in your ship when you were recording.
Oh, brain fart.
Oh. What was I supposed to say?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, indeed. Should have rehearsed this before. You had 10 days.
So I may have not learned, I know I haven't learned everything that this journey has yet to teach me.
That was a quick.
But there's one new thing I know.
Side step.
And that is planet Earth. You are a crew.
Yeah.
Notice how she did the when she said that. The
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. But what does that even mean? Also, like, what the fuck are you talking about, lady?
So the whole thing with this is that, her earpiece went out, so she didn't know what to say. Maybe I saw it different. I saw it as her saying that and the earpiece saying, danger, danger, stop talking about that. Change the subject.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you know what I mean? Like, she was mid-thought and was like she was listening to someone, not that it was out.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. But
yeah, it could have been either. Either way, that's a pretty, like, that's not something that just happens. Like, whatever. yeah, man, there's just so much that's just not believable with this. It's
Yeah,
kind of boggles my mind. And
pretty much everything.
yeah,
And the pictures once again were computer generated, right? Most of them.
yeah,
A lot of the first ones, like if I remember not if I remember, the first couple round of pictures that came out were all AI generated.
yeah,
Then they came out with some that maybe weren't, maybe were, maybe weren't, but then there was questions about why it looked so different from, you know what I mean, the last time and whatever.
yeah.
And then I did see there's someone on Twitter, and I got to give him his props. Invisidon,
Okay.
that's his handle. Sent so he asked Grok. It was a picture, and he asked Grok to identify where the picture was taken from, and Grok was like, "Oh, blah blah blah, it's on the moon. Are you sure? Are those craters? Can you tell me what creates the craters? Oh, the craters on the moon are created from, meteorites over millions of years smashing in, like, the whole common
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, that's great. 100% you can confirm this is a real photo. Yes, I can. And then the last one is him zooming out from the original picture, and it was a pile of cow dung. So he took a picture of cow dung, zoomed in on a spot that had craters, sent it to the AI, and the AI recognized it as the moon.
Hmm.
That, like, they've done it so many times, right? With Mars and Devon Island and Canada and all that. Like, why do they do these things?
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
right? They're either hiding the true purpose of what they're doing, or they're just trying to distract us all. And I still think that's all it is.
I think it's a big distraction too. At least they didn't have the dolphins jumping out of the water this time, like when Katy Perry came back down.
Yeah. Katy Perry
Yeah.
dating our prime minister.
Yeah. Our ex prime minister.
Yeah, sorry, ex prime minister.
Yeah, I actually saw that
Mr.
picture when you
Burns.
brought up the picture of them at Coachella. I saw it and I was like, did this guy like have reverse aging happen? I mean,
Crazy,
like,
eh?
Man, it's pretty wild. Like
Both of them actually
yeah.
look like they've been doing adrenochrome. There's probably a lot of adrenochrome available at Coachella.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I realize it's still going on. Oh, there it is. Look at me. I'm 20 years old.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Like I mean, I watched that guy in front of the cabin during the 2020s or early aughts, early 2020s, and he had gray hair and shit. And he's like, yeah, he's all baby faced again. He's dropped like 20 pounds. He's not a gray hair in sight. Backwards, like it's at Katy Perry, same thing. Just like looking like she's just out of high school. Like I know they're rich as fuck, but
maybe
like,
it's a heavy lies the burden kind of thing. He no longer has the burden of the King of Canada.
Oh yeah,
it's 100% coke and adrenochrome.
Oh yeah,
I think he's lost a bunch of weight, and can we get sued for saying these things? I don't know. I don't care. It's just it's our opinion.
Yeah,
uneducated opinion.
Yeah. Something's up.
There is something up too with Justin Trudeau, because we can talk about this part because it's been filed in court that it was Jeff Brown. I know I have that on here too. Jeff Brown has sued the Toronto Star.
Yeah. So this guy's the author of a book called Trudeau's Kitchen or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a Trine Day. It was published on Trine Day. And it basically like, he was kind of he's a lawyer, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was in the inner circle there for a bit. And Sophie Trudeau had invited him to do something, and he ended up with some insider knowledge and wrote a book about it. About kind of the corruption in the Trudeau family and all that. But
I have his do you want me to read his tweet?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll read his tweet it's Jeff Brown, which is at Jeff Brown Enreal, ENREAL on Twitter. That's or Twitter X, that's his handle. This is from April 8th. So it says, I just sued the Toronto Star for failing to publicly reveal information shared by the RCMP regarding Justin Trudeau and underage porn. And this is like a legitimate, like, this is not some conspiracy. This has actually been filed. And he's a legitimate investigator. He was a lawyer, and now he's an investigator, I believe, an author, something like that. Anyway. After much reflection, I've decided to begin my litigation process related to the events arising from the experiences I wrote about in Trudeau's Kitchen. I'm not even talking about the more specific details / consequences I shared in Trudeau's Kitchen. i.e., how the star may have been negligent with respect to not telling my story. Those will be explored soon. I'm talking about the bigger picture consequences of media not sharing important details about political leadership with the citizenry. Oh, how we suffer in their absence. In this case, I began with something that was shared with me in 2021 by then Toronto Star journalist Robert Cribb. So he worked for the Toronto Star, and what was shared was to the effect that the RCMP had informed them that the then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was watching kiddie porn on his devices. It was their job to witness him in order to ensure his devices were not compromised by a foreign power. When asked in 2022 if this story was going to go public, because I would think that's a pretty big deal, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Prime Minister at the time, right?
Yeah.
And this was when that high heel mark appeared on his head and him and Sophie split up. And
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, back to his tweet. If the story was going to go public, Cribb confirmed that the original source was credible and affirmed that the story was coming. Where there's smoke, there's fire is the quote. It never came, and I believe it should have. I've struggled with this and various other things shared with me by the media for a long time. At the link below is the filing itself for anyone interested. So I'll just stop there. But if you go to him on Twitter and find it, he provides all the links to the filing itself. It's real. It's legit.
Yeah.
Like that should be huge news.
No one's touching it. Not a single news outlet is touching it. I do find it odd that he's well, I guess maybe this is a smart way to go about it because he's suing the Toronto Star, and it's not like he's not going after the RCMP or anything directly, trying to get an investigation done that way. So it's by doing the lawsuit against a media outlet, and it's only like a $50,000 charge. Like it's not like he's suing them for millions and millions of dollars, right? But I think it's as a way to sort of break the story without having litigation go through actual government agencies at first.
Because this way they're going to have to hear it, right? If it was the government, they would just keep putting it off and then say something, oh, it's a moot point, he's not Prime Minister. Like, you know how it is here.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, everyone, anyone that's looked into Justin Trudeau's past knows about the NDA signed when he was a teacher at that school.
And his roommate at that same time he signed the NDA is in jail currently or just got out of jail for kid porn.
Yep.
And like being a ringleader of distributing it.
I've heard stories like linking them to like the Picton farm and things like that as well. Obviously this is all speculation. I'm just saying things that I've heard.
His roommate did get convicted of that.
Yeah. His roommate did. Yeah. And he was like he was a groomsman at his wedding or something too, right? Like, so they were tight. Like they were, So, I mean, this isn't, out of left field. This isn't uncharacteristic. This is, in my mind, completely believable, and we'll see what happens with it. But, it's, and then at the same time, all this comes out, he's, bumming around Coachella, hanging out, watching Justin Bieber. Like, it's just,
it's so weird, eh?
Yeah.
And speaking of Coachella, because there's still a day left, I guess today is Sunday and still fairly early. So there's a whole day for it to continue, but there was a lot of not worries. I saw a few things posted online about false flags, possibly at Coachella because of what they excluded, like what you were not allowed to bring in.
Yeah.
It was a very substantial list actually of weird lists.
Yeah.
That you would have that. I haven't been to Coachella, so
I view Coachella as sort of like one of those ritual things as well. I mean, this was also I don't know if you saw, but Justin Bieber made his big re-entry into the music world and played like his whole setup was strange. He had like he had his laptop set up and he was like playing memes and videos and stuff and about him in his younger years, and like obviously we know Justin Bieber, I almost said Trudeau again. Justin Bieber was like implicated in the whole P. Diddy thing because of his his connections with Usher.
Or they were implicated in what they did to him.
Well, he was like the victim in it all, right? But also, and this also plays into the whole like this like resurgence of the Christian push because he came back as like big Christ follower,
Yeah.
and people are fawning over that, where it's like, oh yeah, no, he's, Christ saved him and stuff. And again,
He's married to a Baldwin, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
one of the Baldwins, not the one that killed the lady on set.
yeah,
The other Baldwin, Stephen.
yeah,
I know there's many Baldwins. He's a born again too, isn't he? Like,
yeah, yeah.
pretty
He's been very
devout.
outspoken about a lot. Yeah, again, it just plays. I think this all just plays into the like theater aspect of it. Is they're all playing a role, and I think that obviously there has to be like the good guys and the bad guys, right? Because that's what
Mhm.
the general public understands: the antagonist and the protagonist. And so,
Hegelian dialectic,
exactly,
right? The whole,
yeah.
yeah.
So I just
Ball
whenever,
versus Moloch.
yeah, yeah,
I'm Team Ball. I'm Team Moloch. Yeah.
and so I really think the Bieber Christian thing, like I have my guard up with that so much. Again, I'm not anti-Christian. I am like pro Christ consciousness, pro, you know, that whole the moral stance on all of it.
Mhm.
But it's just so convenient now that there's just this big Christian sort of like anti-woke movement that's like making it so mainstream. And apparently, like the whole thing is that like evangelical Christians have always been persecuted and whatnot, and that's still the narrative they're going with,
They need it.
but they're everywhere.
I think that I agree with you, and it's very apparent. There's also a big a big move towards orthodoxy, I've noticed as well. But like the two sides, right? Like born again and evangelico and the Orthodox route, they're very different though.
Mhm.
But the evangelical route for sure definitely promotes this whole like we've got to save Israel. Not save Israel, sorry. We need shit to happen in Israel to fulfill prophecy.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's the push for that, in my opinion, is to get them to be pro-Israel. Because I'm with you as well with religion. Like any religion, like I have nothing against Christians, Muslims, anyone, Jews,
No.
anyone for their religion. I just don't like people killing in the name of religion, or you know what I mean? Being okay with someone else dying because they're a different religion. I almost knocked the wizard over.
Oh
Would
man.
have made it a whole episode.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well, and I think too, it's like, you have to, again, we're saying playing on the emotions of both sides, and the political right very much takes that Christian stance on a lot of things, the conservative Christian kind of approach.
mhm.
So you have to win over your side, right? And I think that bringing in musical artists and actors and things like that is a way to win over the younger generations. Doing it with political figures is a way to win over the boomers and the older
Mhm.
generations.
And if that doesn't work, you just kill people
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Charlie Kirk,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If
Nope.
you can't get them to do what they want, you want them to do because they actually maybe he wasn't even real. But anyway, sorry for bringing that up. Just
No,
it seems to happen a lot, right?
it's all
Like,
tied together, and that's what's so strange about it is it's like we're just all witnessing this movie, and it's like it's getting exhausting. And for the people that aren't following the movie and aren't picking a side in that, that's the other end of it, right? Where it's like it's just causing exhaustion to everyone else who's like, fuck, enough. Like,
yeah,
enough of this. I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of looking around and seeing idiots believe it too. Like,
yeah,
on whatever side they're on, it's you get exhausted of having to explain yourself, and then you just stop explaining yourself. Get tired of waking people up, so you just stop trying to wake people up, and then everyone just ends up in the same place in the end. And
hmm
I don't know what the answer is to it, because I'm on the, exhausted of it all side. So
this hiring.
yeah. And because you do start to like with all of it, going back to the moon landings, or not landing, the moon voyage.
Circling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's my whole thing with it was like, even best case scenario, this is real. Okay. That's like, I'll play devil's advocate for a
yeah.
minute. Yes, they sent people into space for 10 days. Cock lover made their way around the moon and returned home safely.
Fartemis poo.
Fartemis poo, like, but even if that was the case, who cares? What did it do for anyone? What does spending hundreds of billions of dollars sending people into space for 10 days do for anybody?
Right?
We have problems here.
Just a couple. There's just a few problems here on Earth.
You
just a
know?
few problems in each individual country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the very least, it should just piss everyone off that they're blowing money on this nonsense, real or not.
And yeah.
And that's my stance. That's my argument with it when people, because, you know, I've been reading the comments and people, you've like, first of all, if you believe it's fake, they just assume you're a flat earther. That's
Yeah.
like the generalization is like, oh, if you don't believe in this, then you're a flat earth retard. And like, obviously that's, you know, not true. Shit's nuanced. But yeah, and then the people that do believe it, it's like, oh, you're a derp, you know, like fucking NPC idiot. And it's like on both sides, guys. Who cares?
And what better way, like this shows the esoteric archives, right? Like, so everything, the whole point of it was for us to find all these things that are hidden, like to show that things are hidden from us, from everyone, from whatever. This is part of their process by how they hide things, by making it so they obfuscate the truth so much. They make it so hard to see what the actual truth is through all the slurry of slop that they throw at us, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, this is what they need for it to go on. So we all argue with each other. Well, about stupid things like silly. Well, you're a flat earther. Well, you know, why are there no stars? That's us, you know, yelling back at them. And instead of us getting together and being like, well, you're kind of right on those things, and we're kind of right on these things. What does that mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe we could all find the truth if we actually talk together and ignore their.
Or at the very least, all sit down and find a better way to spend $100 billion.
Yeah.
You know, let's feed some people. Let's build some houses.
Well, they're going to need it to rebuild Gaza.
Yeah.
So,
That'll be a fun theme park one day.
Yeah, I wonder who gets that contract.
Oh, I think Israel's already won that one. Yeah, so I mean, we could now transition into the Iran stuff because Vance, aka Erica Kirk,
aka Michael Aquino's son,
went to Pakistan.
For what?
Because Pakistan, sure.
Yeah.
To discuss a deal to stop the war, which surprise, surprise, Vance didn't do that.
Did you see how happy Jared Kushner was when he walked out?
Oh,
like
no,
you would think, dude, it's nuts when you watch it. Like it's just as they've come out of the room to say there's no deal, there's no possibility of a deal. People are gonna die.
He just came
like
in his pants.
He had like a giant shit-eating grin. I did not trust that guy.
No,
I don't trust anyone.
No.
In politics, but I certainly do not trust him or JD Vance, Erica Kirk. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's weird. We live in a really weird world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Truth is stranger than fiction.
But all that. So now there's like, you know, now Trump is apparently sending a blockade to the Strait of Hormuz.
He's blocking their blockade. Is that what?
Yeah. That's what I got from it. It was like, okay, so it's like, well, okay, we'll decide who gets through then, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also been talk that like Iran has placed underwater mines.
And they don't know where they are.
They don't know where they are.
I almost did a bad accent. We forgot where they are. Yeah.
So man, I don't know.
Oopsie.
I think this to me is just like setting up a false flag would be my prediction. You know, how many wars are started with the sinking of a ship? That's kind of like a typical playbook.
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
And they definitely look like it. Yeah, it's crazy because it seemed that day when they had that ultimatum day, right? It was building and like I don't know. Can't believe I'm admitting this because I don't want to give my loosh to this nonsense, but I can't help it sometimes. I was actually nervous about what was going to happen. Didn't want to say it and just kind of checked in periodically. And then I saw they got a deal done or at least a 2-week, you know what I mean, window to work something out.
So
I was
2
like,
weeks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right. That's what I thought too. I was like, okay, cool. They're actually going to try to do this. They're going to try to save some innocent people's lot. No, they don't care.
No, and there's a few angles they could take with it, right? Because there's the underwater data cables, so they could cut off the internet
Hmm.
for pretty much the entire world.
Hmm.
There's the fuel shortage thing. They could crash crypto and stuff and the financial sector because they're also apparently Iran was only taking payment in Bitcoin
Hmm.
for allowing people through, which
And yen, Chinese yen or
it,
yuan or however you pronounce it.
yeah.
Also, it they can't. Like, are they going to try to assassinate him again? Because they already used. Remember when that happened, and everyone was like, "It's the Iranians." What? It didn't make any.
No, no.
Well, it did make sense because you knew where this was heading. We knew where this was heading, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, so do you think another assassination attempt? Do you
Could
think a coup and to throw in JD Vance because Trump bowed down and would have given them too many concessions, so they had to send a real hardliner in there?
so there's my if I were a betting man, I would say a false flag sinking of a ship or blowing up of either the data cables or because I know UAE just announced that they're going to be using there's like a pipeline, there's a few different pipelines that
Hmm.
they're like, well, we can just use that
Hmm.
instead of the ships, it's like it only accounts for I think like 40% of the amount of oil that can normally pass through, but it would be enough to like keep things moving.
Hmm.
So they could, Russia, China, whoever could blow that up. Um, there's going to be some sort of false flag in there to disrupt any deals from moving forward, which will push ground troops in. Uh,
And that'll be a bloodbath.
oh yeah,
And then they'll have to use big weapons.
they'll likely initiate some sort of draft, is my guess.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
which
I know
they,
they've discussed it again in a lot of countries
yeah,
recently. So yeah.
there's with the whole. My guess too is that Europe gets involved. I know Europe just passed a big thing. The EU just passed a big law basically saying that they're going to deport like millions and millions of migrants.
Hmm.
So my guess is the draft comes and hey, if you, this was also that Professor Zhang or whatever said this too. So I don't really
Yeah,
like
take
that.
that with a grain of
Yeah.
salt.
But what he said with this, and I kind of, it made sense to me. It was that, oh, you can keep citizenship or we'll give you an automatic path to citizenship if you serve in this war.
Hmm.
So, they know that young people in Europe and North America are not really down. So they're not going to sign up.
Hmm.
There's going to be more draft dodgers than ever. And,
Hmm.
good luck with that.
Do,
So,
do you know that he's from Canada? Not from, he's from China, but Professor Jiang grew up in Canada.
yeah, Toronto or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just, when you said, because of what you just said about if you do this for your country, we won't kick you out. What if that was done with him?
It could have been.
Because, sorry, I know the purpose of today's episode isn't to shit on that guy, but it's very weird when
We're shitting on everything.
we should question everything, right?
Yeah.
When I don't like, the guy literally came out of nowhere and was on every show and big shows, like
Yeah.
very popular shows out of nowhere. Maybe not totally out of nowhere. I know he was a big YouTube follower.
And he's not actually a professor. He just has
No.
and he claims he doesn't study or doesn't research. This is all just like intuitive.
Yeah.
Like
He'll read a couple books. Yeah. But I
no,
should probably more than a couple books.
but yeah, it's not like this is his field of expertise. He's really just kind of shooting from the hip.
And he's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And his opinion fits with this. Because I really do think they want us to flip out about Israel, right? Like that's the whole prophecy, is that everyone needs to see Israel as the bad guy, and the whole world will stand up, and then that will fulfill the prophecy, and then they can blow everything to kingdom come and rebuild the third temple. Correct?
Yeah.
He just helps that along, because not that it doesn't blame Jews specifically, but a lot of, you know what I mean? The Frankists, I believe that he talks about, all were Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He takes a very like Gnostic approach to a lot of it as well. So it's, plays on that whole
With the Sabbatean
side.
Frankists being the ones kind of at the head of it, as opposed to the Freemasons or the Knights Templar or the whoever. So anyway, distraction maybe again from the truth.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like, I remember when the COVID stuff kind of kicked off and when I kind of figured out what was going on with that, is my theory was that this was just a controlled chaos and that they were going to get the chaos whatever way they could.
Mm-hmm.
So each country's going to have a different approach, right? Like the Middle East is like the easiest way to invoke chaos is war because that's what they know over there, right? That's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in North America and Europe, you take away people's privilege, you take away their convenience, you take away the ease of living that we've all experienced, right? And whether
Yeah.
that's through, like in Europe, there's the immigration stuff that's going on where a lot of countries are very destabilized because they're bringing in people from the third world that are causing a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
There's the fuel stuff, like the potential fuel shortages and stuff now, which I don't know if you've seen what's going on in Ireland,
Yeah, crazy, eh?
but there's like they're massive, massive protests in Ireland
Mm-hmm.
blockading highways and whatever the farmers and all the agricultural industry is standing up, and the people are now behind it. The government has, I'm just saying this for anyone that isn't paying attention to what's going on over there because the news isn't telling anyone what's going on over there.
No, it's
So
hard to find.
but they've basically the Garda, like their special forces, police or whatever, the military, they sick them on the people,
Yeah.
and which is essentially backfired because the numbers are growing and growing by the day.
Yeah.
Very
You-
similar to the Emergencies Act here with what happened, and but unfortunately we didn't. That kind of put the boots to the neck of that protest.
And
But
do you know who's in charge of the Garda in
no,
Ireland? A Canadian woman.
God,
Who was so because I'm saying that this is an important thing actually to bring up. When I first was seeing all that too, people were like, "Oh, and look who's in charge of Garda." Not people, but some accounts. It's a police officer from Canada who was part of the trucker protests and like what happened to the truckers. When you look into it, that wasn't the case. She was actually already the head of or in working for Garda before the trucker protest, but she did work under Bill Blair for 10 years. So when Bill Blair, was one of the people who decided what happened at the trucker protests and who was the Toronto police chief and decided what would happen during the G8 summit, uh, that was in 2008. There was a whole kettling incident with how they treated protesters there and they confused protesters with people just shopping. And they ended up, I don't know if you remember this.
no, I don't know.
Bill Blair has some different ways of policing, which I think like very authoritative surveillance state kind of ways. And
Yeah,
she comes from that
that's her
yeah.
circle. Yeah.
And then she went there and now she's in charge of the Garda and she's in charge of their response. Right. So
Yeah,
yeah.
they're doubling down. I think.
And it's all surveillance. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Is they're not. I don't think they're going to be going after people like in the streets right away.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all surveillance. It's all watching from everywhere else, so they can get them on a few things. And then when the time is right, they'll bring in the horses and stamp Granny.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the Canadian way. So what you were saying though is that like pushing us to this. I feel like in this country, Canada, they can't. No one's gonna freak out ever.
No, there's
Like kill an ostrich, maybe. Like that's. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Like that's maybe something that'll get people upset.
Canada does feel very lobotomized right now.
Yeah.
Like extremely lobotomized. The zombie mode has taken hold, and I don't know what it's going to take to push people.
Increase taxes a bit more. Like it's crazy. I don't know how much more money they can take from people in this country for no discernible benefit back to you without people being like, okay, this is enough, and this is a good segue, I guess, into something that I did want to ask you about, right? So there's been another maybe this is the thing, another recalled MP, sorry, not recalled, another MP crossing the floor, going from conservative to liberal to give Mr. Burns, Mark Carney, his one short of the majority.
Yeah, with the by-elections coming up
tomorrow.
Yeah.
3 of them tomorrow.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he's bought his way into a majority government.
Yeah. And so Marilyn Cloudy, the one who went over, she ran for conservative leader.
Yeah.
In the last leadership convention they had.
Yeah.
How do you go from running for leader of your great ball or Moloch party to just swapping sides. Well, we know how.
Yeah.
Money, but
Well, and the excuse she gave too is that she actually kind of she is a bit of a Freudian slip because she sort of said like that the way the federal government works is that they only really provide funding to ridings that support their. So she's like, I did this for my constituents
Yeah.
because now we'll actually receive funding.
yeah, I'm sure it's for your constituents that will
Which
receive.
pissed off a bunch of liberals and conservatives.
Yeah.
You know, so if anything, she shot herself in the foot with that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this is not looking good right now.
Now she's just going to feed at the liberal trough instead of the conservative trough.
Yeah.
Because they're all. I'm of the opinion that if you have an issue with if you get elected in this country for a certain party and people vote for you because you're that party, even though I don't believe in it, I'm just saying, if that's the case and you decide that you no longer can be part of that party, there either needs to be a new election or you stay on as an independent. And I think there should be more independents. I think it would be awesome if they were all independent and voted differently on different things.
Oh, 100%.
Based on what's best for their riding.
I'd maybe have some faith in politics if that was the case.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just, it's become everyone's just fighting for their pension. That's all these people are doing.
And that's what held them up last. Like, so the last time when Trudeau was prime minister, it was Jagmeet's pension that kept that government propped up.
Yeah.
And
well, and now I don't know if you saw there was just a big liberal convention and Carney's wife, who's got major Bridget Macron vibes, was basically like she said New World Order. She said Canada is on the way to being basically a leader in the New World Order. It's like
their slips are awesome.
They're pushing forward, man, and that's what I see. There's like, because on one hand, like it's like it's scary, man. If you really break it down and put it on paper, it's like where the world is headed right now is scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good for the average person. And just
it's entertaining.
I guess like until it affects you to a point where you like can't feed yourself or whatever. I
know it.
But
I thought you were going to say till you're too depressed because I think that's what I was going to say. I when I hit rock bottom with realizing what was going on and being like, holy crap, it's everything.
Yeah.
There's a period of depression, but then after that, it's quite entertaining.
Yeah. It's very demoralizing at first until you kind of move past that and realize the theater of it all. But it's also just like that does play into that, the Project Looking Glass stuff where they couldn't see past 2027, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no situation in which they win in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe because they know that, they're just like, well, all full steam ahead. Let's ram through as much of this as we can because we know we're going down. So let's like loot the treasury as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. I think you're
I really think that's what it is.
Take what we can.
Take what you can.
It's a sinking ship anyway. Grab everything off the Titanic before it sinks. Yeah. Talking about what would maybe to actually bring this country to not to a civil war, but to maybe get a little bit more angry. And it's kind of a local thing. I don't know if you saw in Cowichan Valley, how they limited the amount of farm animals and noise bylaws for like roosters. And this is an area that's traditionally been the heart of
they changed
farming.
All like the agricultural zoning and stuff. So they're trying to make it so you can't like have your own chickens. They even changed the height of the fence. So you're not allowed to have higher than a 3-foot fence. Which, I mean, like, if for anyone that doesn't live out on the island, like deer are a major problem. If you're trying to garden, like you have to fence in your garden to an extent because the deer will just ravage it.
Yeah.
So by making your fence and a deer can clear a 3-foot fence like it's nothing. They'll clear a 6-foot fence. So I've seen it. Like, so this basically decimates personal gardens, decimates people's, I live rurally, you live fairly rurally too. There's farm stands everywhere with local eggs and and whatever, and they're trying to get rid of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's at least the people are really standing up against it.
So that's what I was going to say is mark my words, which I guess doing this right now will. I think something will come out of that. I think there's going to be a bit of violence and trouble when they try to enforce it. Because I like people in Victoria, people in people in Victoria that like they're very, you know what I mean, and left leaning will do. They love govern me hard, govern me harder, daddy kind of vibes, right? They love being governed. But Cowichan Valley is the exact, and Up Island is the exact opposite of that.
I think a lot outside, like people don't understand when they think like, because BC gets this reputation of being very liberal.
Which it is. Yeah. The cities are.
The cities are Vancouver, Victoria, even Nanaimo to some extent, even though it's more just on that. Nanaimo's more just because social assistance is required quite a bit there. But anyways, but people think BC, they think very liberal, blue hair, whatever, right? But they're outside of the cities are actually quite, I don't want to say conservative, but like let's call it more libertarian.
Yeah, that would be a very good. Yeah.
It's all farms. It's all, like lumber industry, fishing, like it's very much even tourism to an extent, right? Like the more regulations that are put on these regions, the harder it is to run a tourist business. The fish, like fishing guides, hunting tours.
They're trying to kill those businesses, right? Like the biggest, and not. I don't agree with whale watching tours. I'll just say that out loud. Not that I don't agree with it. I think if you're someone who ever comes to visit the island, you want to see whales, go out fishing for the day.
Yeah, or just sit on the beach.
Yeah, and you'll see them instead of chasing whales around in a boat. But the largest whale watching operation in Victoria, which has ran for 40 years, just closed down.
Whoa.
A lot of them are because of the cost of fuel, right? So they can't do it. Fishing charters also are like, because they keep shrinking the window every year of when, you know what I mean, commercial fishermen versus sport fishermen can go out. They close the window for sport fishing. That is a big business, at least this way, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people eat that way. Like it's a great way to beat having to pay it.
There's a lot of subsistence living out here.
Yeah. And like I learned it as soon as I got out here to go out and fish quite a bit to make sure your freezer's full. And
I think what I see as a major tactic that the government is using in that is using the First Nations people as sort of the stewards of these new laws. And so, right, like they're placing in, rather than going directly after the people saying this is the government doing this, it's we're doing this in the better interest of the First Nations bands. And you're seeing that, and I respect the First Nations culture. I like we'll preface this by that, but I think that they're being used as pawns right now to bring about a lot, and they're going to be just like they were before with the treaties and stuff. Once their usefulness is done, they're going to be thrown aside. And I think all this land back stuff is playing right into that, right? It's like, because I've seen things, that they're basically using these land back deals to give control of the land to the tribes, and then the tribes are therefore then turning around and selling mineral rights to companies from China, to companies from India, you know what I mean? And it's
the same with fishing, dude. Because like they say that the reason for closing the fisheries to sport fishermen is to protect the Chinook salmon population, because that's what the resident orca. That I believe that's actually their legitimate logic. Okay, fine. Then why do you allow commercial fishing with giant nets where they get if you cared about that, you wouldn't allow that. And it's the same thing with this one, right? Like if you cared about First Nations giving back and all that stuff, and that's what you wanted, they wouldn't be selling their rights to giant corporations. It always comes down to money.
Yeah.
Money.
And it plays into the emotions of the political left that are very, like all children matter and all that play into all that stuff, right? And have, are sympathetic towards the First Nations plight. And then it also plays into the the alt-right stuff where they've always been sort of racist towards the First Nations and very, so it's like,
It gives
because
them it gives them ammo.
it gives both sides ammunition, and in the middle you have the First Nations that are just the victims in all of this, and it's just, it's really kind of,
because it's their elders making these decisions for the people.
Yeah,
right?
if you think that this land is actually going to be used to like house their people or build like profitable businesses, and that profit is actually going to be shared amongst like, you're delusional. That never happens.
And why trying to loop it back into the moon? But why all this? Because when we're told about what's supposedly on the moon, right? It has like supposedly it's where all the titanium on Earth comes from. Like there was no titanium available on Earth, and all of a sudden there was a bunch, and there's apparently a lot on the moon. So that's the whole thing. Is like the next big thing is mineral farming on the moon and mineral farming on asteroids and undersea.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they still bothering with raping the land completely here then?
Yeah.
If that's real, that's what I'm getting at, right? Like, so if all the moon stuff is real, trying to tie it all in here, then why are they still mining here? Because mining is, I realize we need those precious metals, and I know there's lots of things that I probably use that I don't even realize have them in them, although I don't use a lot.
I mean, these microphones, the computer, this mixer.
Yeah,
it's
right.
all, yeah.
Fair enough. I would rather do this around a campfire myself and live in a world where those things weren't needed, because we didn't have to completely rape the environment grape the environment. Damn words.
I think we've said enough on this episode that it doesn't
right
matter.
It like, go look at any mining operation, be like, oh, they definitely made that place look better when they were done.
Oh yeah,
never. It's the same with lumber and whatever. Also a thing I realize you need, right? But with nuance, all those things can be done in a way that is maybe helpful to nature, or you do it up in the moon or something, but then there's no profit. So everything comes down to money.
Yeah. Well, and I think at the end of the day too, it's just like how much is actually sold and not utilized too. Like it's really just about propping up these industries. It's not about sustainability. Like I think, if we were to get rid of the concept of like someone has to be a billionaire, then, and I'm not, I understand whatever, capitalism is probably a better system than communism, but like, at the same time, like, can we just, with anything, can we just split the fucking difference, please? Can we just meet somewhere in the middle? Because I think most people, that's where they'd rather exist, is somewhere in the middle where, everyone has the freedom to like have a career, do what you want, pursue happiness, blah, 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 blah. But also, can we not destroy everything in the process? Can we just like,
and not turn everything into a conglomerate?
Yeah.
Like,
can we just take enough to live comfortably, and then, if there's some excess, we share, or we like, trade, like, how the world used to work for thousands and thousands of years before we came up with these concepts. But
city states and fiefdoms and things like that, and people, you know what I mean, would come up with their own ideas in those communities. And at least if you did that, people could decide what they wanted to do. But the problem is humans.
Yeah.
Humans and greed. And that's always like, I'm trying to be the devil's advocate.
Oh, no, for
I
sure,
believe in what you're saying.
You kind of have to be like
that. You need, at least in this day and age, if you did something, you'd need to get rid of, I guess, every gun,
I mean,
right?
being an idealist I like being an idealist, but it also feels very delusional at this point in where we are as a species, because it's like, I think the best we can hope for is like, 80% of the way there. We're never going to live in some utopia. I don't think that's
it would be nice if our next evolvement, you know what I mean? The next way we evolve as people is a spiritual one, where we can just be peaceful with one another. Although I am definitely leaning towards the opinion that we are devolving myself, but
well, I think that this whole New World Order thing is the way they're going to try to sell it on people is the utopia approach.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's drive everything to such a state of chaos that it's just okay, well, we can do this, and but with that, you lose control over this, and this. You can't talk about this. You can't
Yeah.
debate this. You can't know this is the way it is. There's no more. This is AI governance. Blah blah blah. I think that that's what they want to happen is for people to beg for the answer
Yep.
rather than take it upon themselves to actually figure it out. Because feel like if all the rational people on this planet decided to just like, all right, we're not listening to the noise anymore. We're all just gonna like, you know, do what's best and right, and we can all probably agree on that for the most part,
Yeah.
that it would actually come together quite easily.
Yeah. I agree.
But and that brings it back to like the whole, rioting and civil war stuff. And it's like I don't believe that the answer to all of this is violence, even though I know that there's some people out there that think that that's the only way that you get anywhere with any of this is people have to stand up and
You
fight
aren't
back.
you aren't gonna win.
No,
Not
exactly.
in this.
No,
No.
I've always thought like mass non-compliance, right? That's the best answer in my mind is like, do this. No,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Turn your back
no.
on them.
Yeah.
What yeah, I
Strength
fully agree with you.
strength in numbers, right? Like
Yeah.
if everyone, let's use the shots for an example. If everyone had just said no, if everyone, you have to wear a mask to come into the store. No,
Mhm.
there were people obviously that did take that approach, but if everyone had just, this doesn't make sense. We can all agree this doesn't make sense. No.
One simple one is one simple one is for a large swath of the population to come together and decide we are not paying taxes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right? Because that sends a message. They can't ignore that story. They can't, and they don't have the resources to go after everyone.
No.
And even if you do, and I know this from experience, it takes a while for them to catch you. But do you know what I mean? Like, but just don't like that's a way I think. Because I thought about like, oh, everyone quit their job or you know what I mean? Like walk out. That is another way too. A general strike, a very large, like
Yeah.
where the entire country is striking for 2 weeks to prove to you how important we are and what happens if we don't do our little piddly menial jobs, right?
Yeah.
Nothing runs and see how much money you lose. And then we'll come back if you guys want to talk to us about changing things. But that they would figure out some way to demonize and turn those people into villains. And,
Yeah.
you'd see a lot of people walking out and they'd maybe lose their job and would have no legal leg to stand on. And
People have become just too afraid to lose that convenience and that like comfortable state of living, right?
Mhm.
Which might be, like maybe they have played their hand a little too hard in all of this with making life, like you said, like what's going to drive Canadians to say enough is enough, and it's like, well, if no one's comfortable anymore, then it's what do you have to lose, right? Like, are you going to tell me like, no, I can just like I'm not saying like if again like I'm not promoting tax fraud or anything for legality reasons. Like, I'm not saying that, but if say everyone were to be like, okay, I'm not, this doesn't mean I'm not going to contribute, but I'm going to put my money into my community instead of sending it to a
Mhm.
politician to send to Ukraine or wherever,
Mhm.
fund whatever war or dumb shit organization they want to fund.
Mhm.
Like, no, I'm going to give this money to my local farmers. I'm going to give this money to, whatever the homeschool cohorts in the area, whatever it
to
is,
the
right?
actual person that needs it, not to, because I was going to say it can't be any form of government, in my opinion, anymore. Because even at the municipal level in Canada, those are the ones who made the bylaw rules we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't federal or provincial. That was a municipal, regional decision to stop something that from people eating at a time where things have never been more expensive. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all captured. It's all corrupt all the way down to
And
local governments now. So
and I would think, like we were talking, how do you, that's how I would envision everything would work if you removed government. You know what I mean? I think if you can figure out the safety aspect of it, like not that I need to be safe or I've never needed police for anything in my life or, you know what I mean? Or been involved with them for anything. but I get why people want that, just to make sure we don't get taken over by the city next to us or whatever.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think everything else would sort itself out the way you just described. Like, people would take their money or whatever has value if shit went sideways,
Yeah.
and they would trade that with or give it to, that farmer in exchange for eggs for the year or for the month, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People would come up, like, we're not idiots. We would figure it out. We don't need them.
Yeah, well, it only becomes a problem when you drive people into largely populated areas, right? When you
Yeah.
have too great of a population for these systems to work and make sense. It's like they did that study where it's like humans aren't, what was it, like 800 people is like the perfect size for like a singular community, that if we
Mhm.
were just to keep everything kind of spaced out and keep people, in their communities as opposed to driving people. But then you get like a city like Vancouver, and it's like, yeah, if you remove the policing aspect of that, Vancouver would be on fire in 2 days. It'd be done. Like I lived in Vancouver for years, and like, yeah, East Van would be overtaken and by
Well,
the afternoon.
I think I agree that would happen, but then I think you'd see a lot of vigilanteism a
Yeah.
few weeks later, and then the response would be that it would turn Vancouver into something different than it is because it's a laid back, you know what I mean? Like, laissez-faire kind of
Yeah.
beautiful looking city. It would turn it into like a police state
It would get
would be
pretty
the only
Mad
way.
Maxy at
Yeah, yeah,
first, and then it would have to turn into like a Hunger Games capital
yeah.
situation.
Because people like their drugs there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do. Um yeah, man, I don't know. I think I know we've said it for, I mean, I've said it for the last few years that we've known each other, that I think that we're headed towards the climax of all of this. It's like it's gotta reach a head at some point.
Mhm.
And I don't know, every time I think we're there, it keeps pushing further and further. So I don't actually know what that climax looks like, but um
Every time I think we're there too, there's an Artemis too, or there's a World Cup, or there's a Super Bowl,
yeah,
or you know what I mean? Like, there's always something the minute I think we're just about to be on the precipice of people.
bread and circuses, yeah.
Yeah. Because I do think when or if it happens, I'm gonna say when, it's gonna happen very quickly, where just a mass amount, like, it's gonna be a viral awakening is how I think it will happen if it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And and that's the only way they can't stop it too. Because
Yeah,
that's the only way, if it's planned or if it takes time to build up, they'll see it coming,
for sure, yeah.
right? So there's got to be one thing where people are like, "Hey, wait a second," like one straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
Is that it?
So, I don't know. Learn to fish, people. Plant your
Yeah.
gardens.
Learn to fish, plant your gardens.
Meet
Life
your
on the West
neighbor.
Coast. That pretty much is my life outside of work, anyway. So
Yeah, I gotta get some fishing gear. I gotta get into that, but
yeah, caught a
yeah.
couple nice trout yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Cool, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was a bit of a doomy episode, but hey, at least we went to space.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, and we
Look, the
will.
wizard's floating.
Yeah.
The wizard's. Oh, I
Oh
did it.
no. Yeah, that's like the act. Did you see that they dropped the International Space Station? You dropped the globe,
I did.
and it fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my last space
I
remark.
saw the second thing I was going to say has nothing to do with the show, but the two statue unveilings that I saw this week, that was one where the globe fell,
Mhm.
and the other one was in Seattle. They took for Ichiro Suzuki. They built like this statue of him, and when they pulled it off, his bat just went.
Oh, really?
Nothing's right. Like, they can't even build it from the beginning properly, but there's statues built like thousands of years ago that are just sitting there out in the elements, totally fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
World's fake and gay, people,
it is.
and not gay in the good way.
Yeah. No. That's I think about it for this week. We'll see. Oh, yeah, the archons are tripping me up here. Sorry.
Have some of that tea.
Yeah, it's cold now. It's no good. Um, but yeah, I think we covered everything we wanted to cover today.
Yeah, so I guess on that note, from the land of the high seas and the tall trees, I'm Mike.
I'm Andrew.
Have a good night.
We will catch you next time.